Just taking a look at the back of the amp rack, this is where I want to mount the Amp Pro. That means all my wiring is going to come around this side. My plan is to take this piece right here and attach everything to it so they can easily just run through these holes, and in the end I can attach this to here and everything will look pretty nice, neat, and be serviceable. Right now I have it just double-sided taped onto here because I needed to test fit it to make sure that there is plenty of clearance for it. Luckily there is, which means we can get started. The one thing I'm going to do differently is the ARC Audio comes with two harnesses. It comes with an RCA harness with female ends here, and it comes with this guy right here, which is the high level harness. I personally like to take the high level harness and cut it to length and add in my own ends to it so that I have a perfectly sized harness. The other harness is this, which is the speaker wire harness. This will plug into here. This harness will be connected to these wires as well as the speed wire that is going to come up front. That means I can just get all of this attached and have it just loop through and then plug in and make it super fun. These two holes here are for my inputs and outputs. I have my Toslink, my USB, my RCA, and the remote turn on. So all of that can be brought up along in here, zip tied into place, and then affixed to this. Let's get started. So I spent a little bit of time working on the plan that I have for wiring up the amplifier, meaning this piece right here. And let me kind of go over it so you can get a feel for what has transpired. The first step was getting the output of the Amp Pro connected to the amplifier, which was this setup right here. I soldered my RCAs together, zip tied them all onto the amp rack. The next step was connecting my output of my amplifier up to my factory harness, as well as also adding in the speed wire that is going to run up front for the rears and tweeters. The Amp Pro generates the remote turn on, and that would be these two wires here, because the amplifier has an input, which is this blue-white wire coming from here, and an output, which is the blue wire that snakes back through and ends here in this connector. The goal is to get it so that all of these will come through these holes and plug into place. The RC output is also ran along here and will loop back around and plug into here. So for the most part, I have my input-output signal pretty much taken care of, with the exception of adding the Toslink cable and my USB. The USB is just gonna come out and hang out over in this area down in the little cubby area in the car, so I don't need to worry about that quite yet. It's not gonna be part of this, but I do need to find some place to put my fuse holder for this installation, which is this guy right here. Ideally it should probably go somewhere over on this end of the amp rack, maybe down here. That's a good question. I haven't quite figured out where I want to put this yet, so I'm still pondering that. However, the grounds are gonna come around and they're gonna exit up here where that factory bolt is. So those are probably going to be my next endeavor on this, is get those grounds up and around and over to here, because that seems pretty straightforward and easy. And while I'm doing that, I'll figure out the best place to put this fuse holder so that I can get my wire runs where they need to be. And then the last thing will be connecting up to this, which is the subwire output to go off to his JL woofer. This is what I've come up with for the power. I wanted to make sure that the power wire stayed away from here. I didn't want it to cross over our insert that we made with all our other pieces on it. So it started like this, where the power and ground come out of the bottom and then they're stacked on top of one another, and they come down and they go around this area here and come up the side. So as it turns out, I didn't need to make this notch here because that was my original plan. Didn't work out, but you can't see it, so life is good. These will still work. My power and ground come through this hole on this side. These will connect to the factory ground point. Power wire will come into the T-spec fuse holder here. Fuse is already in it. This is zip tied. They're again stacked on top of one another in the back because we have room. I've test fitted it just to make sure that nothing is going to be an issue. The only thing I got left to do is to add this guy onto here like this and plug in all my connectors along this side, and then this will be ready to get into the car. I'm super excited to get ready to do that. Fernando right now is running the bass knob and my power wire. Let's go meet him in the car and we'll connect the two remaining things to the car and start running our speed wire to the front.
My power wire is already to the firewall. It has a factory grommet that is very easy to get to, so you don't have to worry about that. My power wire goes here and goes under this factory fuse box. It's not that hard to get the wire through here. When we talk about mounting a fuse holder, we always mount our fuse holders out of the way, or we trying to make very serviceable fuse holder mounts. If somebody else is going to do a service on a car, we want to make sure that as soon as they take one bolt, everything comes out very easily. Like this one, for example, you see this is a mess. As installers, we hate when we have something like this to deal. I don't want somebody else to deal with my fuse holder. So what I do is, this is a factory bracket. It has a factory bolt. It's a 13 millimeter, is holding the battery. You remove the bolt, and I'm gonna make a bracket. You kind of figured it out where to mount it. Sometimes you can mount it out of the way here in this part right here. For me, I see some people that mount the fuse over here perfectly fine.
For this car, it would be a problem though.
I don't want to mount it over here.
Well, you have your guillotine right there.
Right. So, and even, so for example, if you mount it here, sometimes people cannot get to the factory fuse box or things like that.
Why not just drill it right to that?
Yeah, don't do that. Seriously, it's better if you just put a zip tie and leave it there. Don't drill holes in top of your fuse boxes. Please don't. Let's go to the bench and I'm gonna show you how I did. In my book, I have a drawing of what I was thinking of doing for the fuse mount. You grab a piece of ABS. Always use ABS 1/4 inch and up. Don't use Central PVC or things like that. This is my fuse. As you see, it's already there. Here, can I show you, this is the cuts that you do. This is a bend up and then bend down. Now let's go to the car and see how it fits. We have the 13 millimeter bolt in there. This is coming from the amplifiers. This one goes through the bus bar. This is the reason why we came over here. As you see, they actually hook up another thing in here. We talk about serviceability. This one is very serviceable. For example, as you see, everything goes back to normal. Is no cutting. If somebody's going to replace the battery, the only thing they have to do is remove the 10 millimeter from the ground, the 10 millimeter from the power, 13 millimeter that we have our fuse mount, and the 13 millimeter in the other side. This bar comes out, the whole mount should come out. This is why we have plenty wire, because this one will move this way. They replace the battery. They don't even have to remove our power wire. So we can close it and it looks like a factory.
One more thing off our list. Let's keep going. The amplifiers are in place. The wires are connected. Let's take a closer look here at our ground points. Using that factory ground point is fantastic. It makes things super convenient. Everything is bolted into place here. There again, we have that nice gap to give us plenty of room to fit behind here. Here are the Amp Pro plugs. They actually come right to this area here. So this can be mounted in and you can unplug and plug them in. Super convenient. Power wire tucks up the backside. So all these wires are nice and loose, easy to get to. You can still service all the factory stuff. And then our bolts are in place. The only wires are running forward. That blue wire is the speed wire that goes forward. I'll look at that in a second. And then we have this braided wire here following the factory, along with this little guy right here is our base knob. Both of those come along into the factory trough, zip tied into place. Comes up here, goes in the firewall. Let's take a closer look at the base knob. Goes right here. There's a perfect spot to mount these in this particular bracket. Bronco uses this, the F-Series trucks use it. I'm sure there's something else that's probably using it as well, but it makes it super convenient. You get a really nice base knob location, easy to get at, and it's tucked out of the way. There's a closer look at those plugs coming down the side with the speed wire. Comes through here. Now when you guys are like talking about like factory wiring, this blue wire here that does like all this crazy pretzel stuff, this is the A to B wire. But this big blue wire here is our speed wire. When running it through this, you got to kind of start here with the tip and work your way through, because there's a ton of little things that you have to kind of sew it under. It won't just set on top, and this black tube just kind of weaves back and forth through here. It's really weird, but you have to keep making sure you go underneath it, and then this will just come up and it stops here, and this is where we're going to pick up our tweeter wires, start moving over here into the dash.